spiritual journey, because we all supposedly come from animals. So when we were animals, obviously there was need for aggression, there was need to pounce somebody and devour and all that. There was a need. At that time it was a necessary thing, because nobody is going to serve a lion on a plate and come on, eat this lamb. It's like that. They are supposed to, but that legacy is still there in us, and therefore we fight and we chase and we do all these things. And the aggressiveness is still there. In the book called Beams, it's very beautiful. It's something to do with the relics of the past. The legacy. Yeah. So it's like that. So now Baba says that you were first fighting with fist, and then with clubs, and then with this, and then with that. But again, in my understanding, irrespective of how apparently bad we may go or it may lead us to, ultimately what is important is that the entire creation is in the most able hands of the five perfect masters at every given point in time, who are looking after the affairs of the entire creation. So unless and until it is in the bigger plan that the entire creation should just boom, which is not likely to be, then we should feel ourselves safe and secure, because we are being looked after by the perfect masters. Now, in the absence of the avatar, of course, the avatar is always conscious of his creation, and since the avatar has said that he is going to be there after 700 years, he is going to come back. And since the avatar has said at one point in time, when they had a meeting in Assisi, in the cave of St. Francis, where he said something like 2000 years ka plan, we have made 2000 years of plan is already done. And since we know that the perfect masters are the executors of the plans which the avatar has done, we can safely feel that there is no question of world being demolished in totality, at least for the next few thousand years, because Baba has said that this is the plan, and this is how the perfect masters will operate on the plan. You see? So coming back to what Baba is saying, that because of our ignorance we are fighting, because of the ignorance now, as Baba says, that you will go to the moon and put a flag over there, plant a flag over there and say, oh, now this has become mine. So if they were to really, let's say, read God Speaks, or they were to really know that everything is an illusion, if they were to really know that everything is one, it's all one, and we are all playing that part, the role, then to a very great extent, all these differences, all these, now here Baba says, what will you find when you go to the moon? You will find yourself. What will you find when you go to Venus? You will find yourself. What will you find if you go down into the... Because people remain the same. As long as we are carrying our mind wherever we are going, which we are, will remain the same. So here Baba says very beautifully, where is it? No, I'm not reading that part, I'm just reading this part. Whether man soar to outer space or dive to the bottom of the deepest ocean, they will find themselves as they are, unchanged. Like somebody wants to go to the Himalayas for having peace of mind and stuff like that, meditation. But as long as your mind is going with you, which is going obviously, the contents of the mind will protrude or will come out or will ooze out and give you the same thoughts and the same experiences and the same feeling, because mind is coming with you. So the environment may be an external factor to help you in your internal. But if your internal are already corrupted, then no amount of environment is going to make any changes. It is the internal that needs to be changed, right? So what will they find themselves? They will find themselves unchanged, because they will not have forgotten themselves. Not have forgotten themselves doesn't mean that you booze and then forget yourself. Not have forgotten themselves would, in my understanding, mean that you would be continuing to carry your ego, you will be continuing to carry your limited eye, your limited mind with all its garbage that is there. So that means you would not have forgotten themselves, nor remembered to exercise the charity of forgiveness. So Baba is again here because the chapter is of forgiveness. Baba is asking us to exercise the best charity, and that is of forgiveness. Forgiveness not only of the other but also of yourself. That is very important. That irrespective, and that is perhaps the reason why Baba says that offer everything to me. Offer the good, the bad, the ugly, all your weaknesses, all your shortcomings. In another message, Baba says, do not worry about your weaknesses. They will eventually go. They have to go because the plan of things is such that they eventually have to go. And how would it go? By remembering Baba, by loving Baba, by asking him to be our constant companion. In that sense what will happen? That love will overpower the weaknesses. The weaknesses may not go, because if you are focusing on removing the weaknesses, then the weaknesses will stay. In fact, they may increase also. But if we are focusing on love, on loving him, on remembering him, on pleasing him, on making him our constant companion, on offering everything to him all the time, then with that positive aspect, the weaknesses will loosen its hold on us. And over a period of time, it will have no effect on us. It is like, in today's time, you have a pen drive or a rewritable CD, as we say. Our mind is like a rewritable CD. Right? Rewritable means you can keep on writing so many times. So if you don't like a certain music, if you don't like a certain stuff that is there in your pen drive, you don't need to erase it. All you need to do is rewrite something else. And when you rewrite something else, that thing automatically goes off. So instead of focusing on our negativities and saying, oh, how bad I am, how sinful I am, how weak I am, how much of attachments I have, instead of thinking about that, if we were to think about how fortunate I am, that in this life we have got to know Baba's name, that how fortunate I am that I am in the association or company of people, who are like-minded. How fortunate I am that I am able to read Baba's words and stuff like that. So when we continue to do that, in Baba's, if we may call it, teachings are so simple. All that he wants us to do is to remember him wholeheartedly as often as we can in the midst of our daily activities. He is not saying that, 5 o'clock you must get up and do this, or 7 o'clock you do some ghanta business, or 8 o'clock you do some other agarbatti business. No, he doesn't say any of these things. He is such a practical master that in our day-to-day, moment-to-moment living, he wants us to be just remembering him, making him our constant companion. That's all. So Baba says that we would neither have forgotten ourselves and we would not have remembered to exercise the charity of forgiveness. So charity of forgiveness applies to us also. We need to forgive ourselves.
Supremacy over others will never cause a man to find a change in himself. The greater his conquests, the stronger is his confirmation of what his mind tells him, that there is no God other than his own power. And he remains separated from God, the absolute power. But when the same mind tells him that there is something which may be called God, and further, when it prompts him to search for God, that he may see him face to face, he begins to forget himself and to forgive others for whatever he has suffered from them. And when he has forgiven everyone and has completely forgotten himself, he finds that God has forgiven him everything and he remembers who in reality he is.
In other words, instead of going verbatim, what Baba is trying to convey is the more we feed our ego, I am great, I am good, the more we are disillusioned into thinking that, there is no such thing as God in our life. So, the simple logic of going from khud to khuda, from khud to khuda, is to let go our khudi.
What is khudi?
Khudi is the
Self.
I-ness, the selfness, the limited I ego. And the easiest way, as Baba suggests, is to love him. when you love somebody, and by love we mean real love and not the filmy love that we talk about, where love is a one-way street, it only gives and it does not expect anything in return. Where love is that we are constantly thinking about the goodness and well-being of the other, and we are working towards that goodness and well-being. Where love would mean that the flashlight of my consciousness, instead of focusing on I, my, me and mine, is focusing on the betterment of the others. Now when I am focusing on the other, what am I starving? I am starving myself, my false self, my limited, finite ego, I am starving. So the more we are feeding with that flashlight of consciousness on the other, the more my finite, limited, separative, egocentric self is being starved. And that the whole game of this love is that we finally forget ourselves. Forget ourselves in the sense that I am not thinking about myself, I am thinking about the other. And Baba says that when you completely forget yourself, then that is where his forgiveness comes. He forgives everything about us, and that is where, let's read Baba's words. What he says is, and when he has forgiven everyone. Now, love also means forgiveness. When you love somebody, automatically you forgive. You see now at home, we do talk husband and wife, fighting happening, quarreling happening, children ke saath hota hai and all that. Immediately it's forgiven. It is forgiven. Why is it forgiven? Because there is some element of love in that. You see? And so we forgive. So here Baba says that when you have forgiven, when you love everybody, when you have forgiven everyone and has completely forgotten himself, and forgotten I mean that you are not thinking about yourself. You are not thinking of the well-being of myself. He finds that God has forgiven him everything and he remembers who, capital W, who in reality he is. So Baba has advocated the pathway of love because it seems that is the quickest, surest and safest pathway, because in other pathways, like say devotion, that Baba had said, that when devotion reaches its zenith, then love is developed, divine love is developed. And divine love, by divine love Baba talks about, is a gift given from God to man. And it is such a gift that that soul who is the recipient of that gift of divine love finds himself so restless and longing to become one with the beloved, longing to become one with God. Baba uses the word, it is like a fish flopping out of water, and he wants to go back to the water. So that is the type of love that Baba talks about. But we can develop small loves, as we say, like how to love God. Baba has given so many points, If you think of others in the same way as you think of your own dear and near one, you are loving God. If instead of robbing others to help yourself, you rob yourself to help others, you are loving God. If instead of finding faults in others, you find them within yourself, you are loving God. So in that sense, what Baba, so beautiful that document is, but what Baba expects us is to understand that in reality there is no other. In reality there is no other. It is only another form of my own self. And therefore, if I am doing something so-called, let's say bad, to others, I have already done it to myself because there is no other. And so that so-called repercussion or boomerang or reaction will definitely come on me because I have already sown that seed for myself. And same goes for the so-called good things that we do. That when we do it, when we love others, actually we are loving ourselves. So that finishes the chapter.
There is a document, how to love God.